Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Peck,
I'm Chris.
and we're here to talk to you about a Ponzi scheme. GFW.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Well, they're not really a Ponzi scheme, but they're also not a full-fledged promotion like we've been led to believe. And my God, if they are, and these aren't just guest stars, we are in for a world of disappointment.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is here. I mean, we've had, this unveiling that everyone's been waiting since last April for. Over the past couple of weeks, after they had the press conference, Jarrett announced some names, and now they're announcing more names. And I don't know if they're done or not.
I hope not, but the thing is, you would think a month out from the tapings to give people time to get to Vegas to do the TV tapings to go see that, you would, I don't know, have some names people want to see.
Well, yeah, this is a tricky time in wrestling because there's a lot of names that haven't really been developed yet that you could develop. Out of some of these names, you could. But it's a weird time because a lot of people are under contracts. There's a lot more promotions now. But I mean, realistically, yes, there should have been some bigger names. I hope there's going to be bigger names for TV.
Now, don't get me wrong, some of these guys are in their own right stars, but a lot of them are tag team stars, and a lot of them, aren't quite the main event level type guy. My thing is, if you're going to be crowning 4 champions, I don't really see anybody on this roster that you can really make your legitimate singles heavyweight competitor, unless, of course, you're just going to try to slingshot somebody to stardom, and I don't know how well that's going to go. What do you think?
Well, it's going to be hard because I think a lot of these guys are under contracts in other places.
Well, that too, yeah, exactly. So it's like almost a part-time thing. What do you think? Do you think we should hit this row by row, and then we'll read off like 4 or 5 names at a time, and then go back over them?
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine.
All right. So apparently they didn't even bother putting these in alphabetical order because why would they?
Yeah.
That'd be way too easy for us.
Way too easy.
So we have Chris the Adonis Mordetsky,
Okay.
the Young Bucks, Jim Cornette, and the artist formerly known as Justin Gabriel, PJ Black.
And that's what we all kind of saw coming.
Well, yeah. Actually, you know what? I thought he was going to end up in TNA, Ring of Honor, or New Japan because Justin Gabriel wasn't bad. That whole Cape Town werewolf gimmick they gave him, where he was like an action extreme sports guy, that was really bad booking by WWE, as to be expected. I'm not really sure what they were trying to do with him other than ruin his career, and it almost worked. But thing is, the Young Bucks, they're not leaving New Japan anytime soon. Jim Cornette, more of a management figure, obviously, although
Yeah.
I'd probably pay to see him wrestle. Chris Mordetsky, you wonder where he's been all this time.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a big absence here for a long time.
Well, his last run, whenever he was working on whatever it was, not Velocity, but one of their like Saturday night shows or whatever one of their their B shows was, he was really improving his in-ring work and everything. He actually switched to a power slam instead of using the master lock that much. He reminded me a lot of a larger version of the Bulldog. Really, he really improved his in-ring work. Didn't get to see him in these promos though, because again, those shows are more about the wrestling. They don't really focus on any of the storylines or anything, so we really didn't get a chance to see what any of that was about. PJ Black, Justin Gabriel, we'll see what they can do with him. So, it's kind of like a wait and see thing with him.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, we have via Trinidad, Chael Sonnen as a commentator, Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett, and of those, only Jeff Jarrett's going to wrestle.
Yeah, if people don't think Jarrett's not going to wrestle, they're sorely mistaken.
Actually, whenever we were first hearing about GFW and some of the arrangements they were making, they announced their partnership with an audio and a lighting company. I said, oh, great, the main event's going to be Jarrett against Kenny, the mic boom guy.
I know. Well, here's my problem, too, with all this. Where are the other representations from these other wrestling companies? These 13, 15 other promotions?
Well,
There's
I guess
here.
if you count the indies that these people have to be working on to earn a paycheck, not New Japan, but I'm sure Justin Gabriel's wrestling somewhere.
I mean, are any of these guys represented by the South Africa Wrestling Company? I mean, I don't know how this is all going to come to play.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? I'm not sure. The whole global aspect of this really needs to be downplayed because, let's be honest. Look at the guys that a country of how many millions of people, TNA found one person to sign to their roster. That horrible, what is his name?
That's Sonata or whatever?
No, Sonata's Japanese. Sonata's actually good. We'll get to him later. What was his name? I don't even remember. The guy that won it. The Rinka King thing.
I don't even know.
It doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Anyway, so moving on to the next row, we have Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows from New Japan. Again, probably not going to be permanent, wrestlers and members of Jarrett's stable. Why would they?
Yeah.
Sanjay Dutt, who cares? Literally, who cares? The man has absolutely no use. I'm sorry. We'll get to the people that are completely useless. I mean, he's already on that list, but we'll cover the people that, just no one wants to see. Lance Hoyt and Davey Boy Smith Jr., very, very good tag team, Killer Elite Squad. Happy to see them. You know what the only problem that I have with this, though, is do you see this already being set up as just being kind of like a continuation of New Japan feuds? Because I get a bad feeling they're just going to end up wrestling Anderson and Gallows. Not that that's a bad thing, but we've just seen it before.
Yeah, that's what they're going to probably most likely use. They have a whole list of the house show set up, too. We'll have to go over that.
We have Quinn Ojinaka, better known as Moose from ROH. More well known to us as Go Away.
Yeah, I saw him on that one pay-per-view. He was making rookie mistakes live on their Ring of Honor Vegas pay-per-view. It was you could see he wasn't.
I mean, I know Ring of Honor is scraping the bottom of the barrel for super heavyweights, but my God, what the hell is he?
I don't know.
Who do we got next? George T. Murdoch, who looks remarkably like Conan in this photo, but it's actually Tyrus. AKA, I'm sorry, you don't know who that is either. Because no one watches TNA. Brodus Clay.
There you go.
The Funkasaurus, that guy.
So they have a dinosaur representing.
Well,
what country's he from? You think?
Contractually and because of the gimmick, no. Pangea actually, because it was all one big country. That was before there was actually a landmass. Never mind. Before we get. Who is Luke Hawx, by the way?
He's that one guy from that Shane Douglas fed that fell down, that ECW thing, reunion.
He fell down or the promotion fell down?
Probably both, really, when you think about it. I mean,
okay, so we don't really know who he is. Luke Hawx, ladies and gentlemen, Dark Horse for GFW World Champion, because we don't know who he is.
No idea.
Andrew Everett, who looks like the love child of Jimmy Jacobs and one of the Young Bucks.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Takaki Watanabe, to my knowledge, I was watching a trailer for Ring of Honor Global Wars, and they had a guy named Watanabe who looks suspiciously like him, who is a dead ringer for, it has to be Hiroki Goto. I don't know who else it could be. Why he's going by Watanabe, I have no idea. Perhaps that's his real name, I don't know. Trent Beretta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trent Beretta.
Oh, wait, Trent Beretta, he was part of, what were they calling them? They were the Blade somethings they were the Blade somethings in WWE, but I don't remember exactly what they were. I just remember that I didn't really care. Former WWE multiple time champion in several promotions. He's more of a light heavyweight guy. I really don't know who he is. I don't know that much about him.
Never heard of him. Couldn't tell you anything.
Well, you haven't watched WWE in quite a while.
All I can say is looks like he needs to hit the gym some more.
Oh, you say that about everyone. All right. Shelton Benjamin. Well, we know what we get from Benjamin. Really solid in ring performances. No Charlie Haas. No. Actually, he's in there with the rest of Suzuki Gun. Well, most of them. Hoyt and Dave Boy Smith Jr., part of Suzuki Gun. They're the Killer Elite Squad. No Taka and no Minoru Suzuki, but Suzuki's been doing a lot of stuff with Noah, so I don't know if we'll see him.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Saya Sonata. Good to see he's getting work. And, Wrestle One's not making any money. They're probably going out of business, too, because their relationship with PNA kind of went under. So, good to see he's getting a contract. I watched a match of him and AJ Styles when Styles was defending the belt around the world, and that was actually really good. Mm-hmm. The new Heavenly Bodies. I prefer the old Heavenly Bodies, but whatever.
They might be something. I don't know. It's hard to really say. I've never seen them work. I don't know.
Jimmy, waste of a contract, Rave, who we never cared to see again after TNA.
Yeah.
Some guy named Jigsaw. It's not Tobin Bell. I'm not sure who this guy is.
Yep. No idea.
Yaman Olavencia, who I swear is a former mixed martial artist, at least based on the name.
Yeah, there's the Hot Shots.
Yeah, OVW television champion. We've never heard of him until now, so okay, never mind.
Yeah, it was
Yaman Olavencia.
Can't even pronounce it.
Yeah, well, that's close enough. The Hot Shots. Who are the Hot Shots?
Well, here's what they are. Cassidy Riley was a job guy in WCW.
Oh, no, not him.
And they put him with Chase Stevens, who's one of the Naturals.
Okay. I remember Chase Stevens.
They were in TNA early.
Yeah, Cassidy Riley was Raven's little flock groupie.
Horrible.
Yeah, I remember him. I just remember him getting thrown off or something. He wasn't very good.
Yeah, they came to TNA as the Hot Shots in 2002, and Summer 3, and then Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas teamed up as the Naturals.
Cliff Compton.
I like him.
That's a solid name. That's a serviceable name.
I don't think he's great. I think he'll be a good addition.
I don't care. At least he's there. He's talented. Chuck Taylor.
I don't know. Never heard of him.
I went to high school with somebody by that name, but I don't know who this person is. Lady Tapa. Well, actually, according to this, there's only one other female on the roster, so get used to a lot of Thea Trinidad versus Lady Tapa. I don't think anybody was really clamoring to see her, or really
I
a
thought we'd see
lot of the
more.
people on the roster.
I thought we'd see more female talent, and I'm sure we will. I mean, you can't have TV of two people,
Oh,
so
I mean, maybe.
yeah. I mean,
Then again, Chris, can you have an entire wrestling show with what is this, 24 people?
are these people even going to be there? That's
Or
the
wait,
question.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 times 7. We have 29 wrestlers, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go. We don't even have an even 30. We're going to have some triple threats or something because we're not going to be able to get this to a good amount. There's going to have to be a handicap match or something in here.
Yeah, this is really bad. I think the issue here is these guys won't be able to be on television. Because isn't the Moose guy still a Ring of Honor?
I'm not sure, but
I
I don't know that they have that specification where you can't. TNA, you can.
Yeah,
But none of these guys are from TNA.
people told me that the Ring of Honor deal fell through with them, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, though, because Ring of Honor is more interested in protecting their deal with New Japan rather than a smaller promotion like GFW that, in essence, would be competing with them rather than New Japan.
So, okay, we looked at the roster here. Here's the problem number one. Nothing, from what I can see that I know, that I honestly, seriously know, the only group I see that's represented here is New Japan.
Group, yes, essentially.
Like a promotion.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I don't know where they're from. It looks like they're just there because they're indie guys that need signed. Or just guys that are out of work, like PJ Black.
Well, here's the other problem, too.
Or Chris Masters.
These guys can't be working a long-term thing. Like, their storylines are going to have to be so structured around their contract that it's not going to really be a surprise to anybody. So let's count the number of New Japan guys. 2 with the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
2 there. So we're at 4, 6.
Yeah, those 2 will be 6.
Yeah. 7, 8. All right, we're at 8 out of a roster of 29. So that's
good hunk of your base there.
Almost a third, essentially, of all the people on your roster are from another promotion completely.
Plus, they don't have that, has also been mentioned, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Scott Hall, and Diamond Dallas Page under, like, the Legends.
I don't think they're going to be able to get them, though, because of their contracts.
I don't know how that's going to work. Scott Hall was just shown on YouTube being drunk all over an indie show, so I don't know how that's
Why in the world would you pay Scott Hall any money to do anything at this point? I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing...
Track record speaks for itself, folks, you know? It's like, it's just, you can't depend on the person.
It's not even that. It's just that he needs a more structured environment, and there's a lot of... we'll get into a whole different discussion about drugs and alcohol and everything in the wrestling place. I'm not saying that GFW is that kind of environment, but it's somewhere where, fans and everything else, it seems like it would be easier for Scott Hall to get exposed to that. I don't think he needs to be traveling or doing any of that. I think he can do some local shows and everything like that. I don't really think they need him. As far as Diamond Dallas Page, he's a star, but again, my biggest problem with wrestling lately has been people that are part-timers, but as long as they can perform, I don't care, like Lesnar, no problem there. Or people that are not wrestlers taking up valuable roster space. That's another problem to have. One of the other concerns that we always talk about is commentating. Who else is doing the show with Chael Sonnen?
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to have...
Or Cornette. Are they going to have Cornette do it?
Well, here's what I think Cornette's here for. I think he's here to help Jarrett to a degree. But he's
and
also
book.
there to, book and do the local promotions. He's big around Tennessee, not, Alabama, that whole kind of area. So I'm sure he's helping.
But isn't their first set of tapings in Vegas?
Yeah, they're in Vegas. That's the first set. They're scheduled July, August, and I believe September and October for Vegas. Not just October. They have a plan, but the question is, I've heard Eric Bischoff is also involved with this. They said he's a part of it. I don't know.
We can't confirm or deny that.
Yeah. If he is, here's my prediction. They're going to get on WGN. Because he has that biker gang show on WGN.
Oh, the Outlaws or whatever that is. Yeah, Outsiders.
Yeah. So I'm thinking WGN or it's going to be...
I signed up to be an extra in that, as a matter of fact.
Oh, there you go, see?
I didn't get it yet. Probably won't.
It's that, or no, it's something else. It's cheesy. It sounds like
Oh, The Devil's Ride.
No, well, it's that. He's on that, too. He
produces that.
But there's another one, WGN, that's brand new that came right after...
I think that's that one, yeah.
After Wrestling with Death. But,
well, I don't know if you're...
There's a chance there.
I don't know if you're familiar with Chael Sonnen's work. He's a MMA fighter and commentator. He does all of their ESPN, their UFC coverage. He does all their mixed martial arts coverage. Now, I'm not sure how he's going to translate to pro wrestling. I don't know if he's going to do with Joey Styles, or not Joey Styles, what Jim Ross and Matt Stryker did. I don't know if he's going to take the time and familiarize himself with the product and the roster enough But I mean, the man's a very good talker. But you never know. Maybe they're going to inject something into that where he tries to go into pro wrestling. He's always talked about it. He's always been a fan. So I don't know.
That could be true
I don't
too.
know what we're going to see from Chael Sonnen. It's going to be interesting no matter what. He's a very fascinating listen. So I mean, for those of you that aren't familiar with his work, if you're not mixed martial arts fans, I would definitely check it out just for that.
Do you think Chael Sonnen will have? I mean, will Jim Ross be part of the broadcast team? Will it be Cornette? Will it be both of them?
I don't know. See, I'm not sure what Jim Ross's status is. I don't know if he's going to end up. I don't know if he still has a working relationship with WWE. I don't know if he's going to try to do more New Japan stuff. I'm really not sure.
It's a good question. I really don't know. I mean, if Eric Bischoff's involved, will he be on the mic too? Will he just be producing?
Now,
If
some of
he's
the things
involved.
that we're not crazy about, they're trying to do some of these baseball stadium shows. And going back all the way to you remember the independent wrestling documentary we watched?
Mm-hmm.
Ball field shows never do well at all. No one goes to them. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the setup or what it is that people just don't like, but the attendance at those is always very, very sparse.
Yeah, I think you're appealing to the wrong crowd.
And I think it's a bad look, too. No, maybe not, because, I mean, everybody knows it's just a venue, but it just doesn't seem like it ever gives the impression and the impact that you want. The sound gets carried away. You know, people aren't going to be able to hear your chop as vividly outside, things like that.
I agree. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to fill what they want to fill. If they're going to, do well with that. I mean, I don't know. It just depends how it's promoted, like anything else, really.
My question is, aside from novelty, aside from the fact that, we want this product to get off the ground and we hope that it succeeds, do you see enough people on this roster that you would plunk down your hard-earned money to go see this?
It's mainly just the New Japan guys, and then maybe Cliff Compton. I'd pay to see him.
Okay, but would you pay full price for a full show to watch maybe 3 matches total that you'd be interested in?
I don't know. It's a tough one.
What's your price point? What do you think you'd spend?
Like $20. But see, I'm cheap with wrestling. I don't want to pay like Ring of Honor. I wouldn't pay more than 20.
Ring of Honor, I wouldn't pay more than 10.
TNA, I just wouldn't pay for.
Oh no, TNA, I try to give money like a charity to hope they could get back.
Yeah, I mean 20 is kind of my limit. I'm not really gonna be too.
I just see nothing that wows me here. That's my biggest problem.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't. This would be one that I might watch on TV or whatnot, but like.
Well, it goes back to, are they gonna beef up the roster? Are the stars coming?
Because we have a lot of retreads, we have a lot of serviceable guys,
yeah.
We have a lot of up and comers, and we have a lot of relative no names. But we don't have any real established single stars.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, like you said, exactly like you said, it's going to be tough.
Or is this just going to be like a New Japan showcase? That's the other problem. Because
Yeah,
your best wrestlers right now on the roster all belong to them.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, if they all go back to New Japan and they're stuck with really...
Well, I mean, New Japan lets you work other shows, but none of these people in their right mind are going to leave New Japan for less money.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to pull out some more names. They're going to have to get bigger names. And they're going to have to make it worth the fans' while. We'll see. Just for one of these house show kind of things, these live events, we're just going to go to Jackson, Tennessee. This show will be taking place on June 12, 2015. Here's the lineup. The Tate twins are going to battle the best friends, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta. Lady Top against Thea Trinidad.
I told you.
Yeah.
Sanjay Dutt versus Yamano Lavencia. Ooh, I can't wait to go get a lunch break on that one.
George T. Murdoch against the Moose.
No one wants to watch that.
Chris Masters versus Dustin Starr.
Ooh.
Bullet Club and the New Heavenly Bodies.
That should be a squash.
And then a special appearance by Jim Cornette. So, I mean, yeah, there's not really much enticing me to go say, hey, I want to see this, because it looks like an independent show. Just reading it.
A very badly booked independent show. I wouldn't go to this.
Yeah, so let's just take one more look. We're just going to look at
another event, see what we got here.
Let's do Knoxville, June 13th. We'll see if it's any different.
All right, I'd love to go to Tennessee.
Here we go.
See if we get anything in the card. I don't know.
And a lot of it's just, I don't know. I think it was a letdown for fans to a degree. I mean, the build-up's been good, but...
Well, yeah, but I mean, we waited so long. Remember, we didn't even know... We thought he was going to have an announcement in, November that he'd be doing tapings?
See, there's different guys named here, so there's more people. But
even still.
I've never heard of them. Tate twins against the best friends again.
These are the same matches.
Well, it's a little different. Sanjay Dutt and Chase Owens against Gammon, whatever.
Domino Lavencia and Jason Kincaid.
Murdoch and Moose, Masters and Devin Driscoll, never heard of him. And the Bullet Club against the New Heavenly Bodies, and then Jim Cornette's appearing again. So, yeah, not really much to get, too enthralled with it, I really got to buy a ticket for this.
And nothing screams globalization like Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, here's the issue, too. When me and Jason reviewed this, and when we had our draft, I admit my draft was a little bit off. It should have been better. I think everyone's could be to a degree. The issue is, are we lacking large amounts of superstar power these days?
I think that superstars, in terms of companies, they're more evenly distributed than they were.
Yeah.
But in terms of types of stars, is where we really see a certain amount clustered in certain places. Like, for example, TNA has almost no one. If you look just by the age demographic, every single star in TNA is over 30-some years old.
Yeah.
Well over 30-some years old. Storm, like 37, 38. Rude, 37, 38. Lashley, 36 to 38. Kurt Angle, 43. So basically all of your top TNA guys are well over 33. WWE, you have stars that are not stars. We've been saying this over and over. You have guys like that, and you know what? You might like them now, that's fine, but when they get jobbed out or they don't reach the level that you want, your guys like Ziggler and Rollins and Reigns and Ambrose, they're not stars. Deal with it. You get the old timers that have, the part timers, Kane, Triple H.
Yeah.
And then the people that have just gotten so stale that no one cares anymore. Orton, Cena.
Big Show, probably. I mean, that guy.
Well, we're talking stars, though.
Okay.
Yeah, really no one in WWE. New Japan is where all of the wrestling talent is, but they're all sort of a certain size. There aren't really any, super heavyweights, but that's not a bad thing because of the way they tell a story and the way that they wrestle. Everyone's probably about between 6 foot, 6'3", that 200 to 235 pound range.
In Japan, never promised anything they really couldn't deliver to like the specific fans. If you're just a general wrestling fan, you watch it, you could either
except for hardcore
way.
wrestling in terms of New Japan. But you know what? Honestly, I don't miss that at all. I could watch New Japan all the time and never miss any of it because in my opinion, Shawn Michaels wrote about it once and said that sometimes a hardcore match, instead of supplementing a great story, takes the place of a great story, and he had a good point about that, and I do agree with that. You're missing some guys, but some guys also wouldn't fit at the show. I don't think RVD would fit at the show because he has no links to them. He's a WWE, ECW, TNA guy. Not even a TNA guy, really. He hates them now.
Well, then it goes to that stigma, too. Oh, you're just using all the ex-WWE, ECW, WCW guys.
Right, exactly. But, I mean, he would be a draw. Some of the Extreme Rising guys.
Yeah, there's a couple of them you could probably use. I mean, but look, I think what a lot of the hardcore wrestling fans that like, the indie wrestling to the 100th degree want to see their guys be there, and some of them aren't, and, maybe...
Well, here's my take on that. Even that's a little disappointing because Ring of Honor basically went on a TNA firing free agent signing frenzy with Kaz, Daniels, Sabin.
Yeah.
And those are all people that, based on their history of working with TNA, figured Jeff Jarrett would swoop right in and would be working one of the shows. We don't see AJ Styles, which surprises me. We don't see...
Well, Samoa Joe.
Because he's going to WWE. We don't see Abyss. Not that we want to see Abyss, but you get the point. Yeah. We don't see a lot of these other people, and Dixie Carter is doing everything in the world she possibly can and forbidding talents from working the show, which I understand, but in a perfect world, we would rather just see Jeff Jarrett buy TNA than try to do this.
Yeah, because then
he's starting so far back instead of just taking that, tearing it down, putting some money into it, and signing some people. I would rather see him do that.
Me too, to be honest with you. It would have made more sense. To get rid of Dixie Carter, that's your problem.
We're starting so far back in the process now that, yes, the internet fans know about it and everything, and I know the internet's starting, it's been such a huge thing and everything, and it's been a force, and you can stream shows and everything else, but I just don't feel like this is going to have that brand name impact. I mean...
Well, yeah, we're definitely missing something. When you saw this from the beginning, how we talked about over the years, almost a year now, a little bit over, we expected bigger. We expected better. We expected more. We expected the best. And we really didn't get too much of that. But I think from Jarrett's philosophy is we're trying new. we're trying some new guys that no one's really banked a lot of money on.
Here's my other question. Do you think that Jarrett's TNA run, when he was always around the belt, do you think that maybe turned some people off to this a little bit and kind of thought, well, if this was how bad TNA was under Jarrett, time was kinder to Jeff Jarrett in our eyes because, that time he spent away, whenever he came back in like 2008, 2010, when he was wrestling Angle and whatnot, we liked that. We liked that he had been away from the spotlight for a while. We liked that he was just working these personal feuds. We liked that he was doing things like that and staying away from the title picture, but we wanted to see him wrestle more. And I think we kind of forgot how disappointed we were in Planet Jarrett and all of these other groups.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, where are we headed? My worry is, are we going right off the bat to see another authority figure storyline, or is GFW really going to be about the wrestling?
I think that's what will make it succeed. It's about the wrestling. And the thing is, too, I think things
interesting individual feuds with gimmicks and everything else, where you can tell a story correctly, and your video production department doesn't look like they failed to graduate 8th grade like TNA's.
Well, I think cornets that can help. I think things are different now. I think back in TNA, Jarrett, who can you trust but yourself to put the belt on? Because that's the safest person that's not going to jump ship. But to the degree we lost the opportunity to see Rhino pretty much in his prime be a TNA champion to a good degree. Monty Brown.
Raven's title reign got ended at a house show, which still makes me angry because he had one of the better TNA.
Samoa Joe,
interesting TNA reigns.
Samoa Joe too, even though I'm not really a fan, he got kind of definitely ripped off
when he was in his prime and at his most interesting to other fans.
They never pulled the trigger on the people that you want. Even some people disagree with me, but I think Chris Harris too. I was ready to see him as a champ, and they just
back then he was definitely, he wasn't ready yet. I think if they would have let him lose the title match and build him up for another year or two, I would have been fine with that. But he kind of got cold feet and went for more money instead.
Mm-hmm. Like 07, I think. I would like to see. I mean,
no. I would have made him champ in 2005.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, he was definitely gearing up to get ready for that. I mean, he had the charisma and everything. It was just the fact that we hadn't seen him enough.
And the same thing I think with Kaz too. We wanted to see him be champ. That one Impact, I want to see him be
when he wrestled Angle, and actually he was inserted into a triple threat as an injury replacement before that and almost beat him.
So that was hot. That was something to go with, and they never pulled the trigger.
No, they never do.
So I think Jarrett, maybe he realizes that hey, I gotta.
Or did Jarrett miscalculate?
Could be too.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, did he think TNA would have gone under by now, and he was going to have all of this available talent that he didn't get?
Yeah, it makes you wonder. But if even that was the case, wouldn't these other promotions that he's working with supply the talent to a degree? I don't think they're really supplying anything.
They're giving the guys they can afford to give, but don't forget these guys have to shoot shows too. I mean, like New Japan didn't suddenly just shut down because GFW is going to have tapings. They're sending their tag division guys. They're sending parts of Suzuki Gun. They're sending people like that, but they're not sending Tanahashi. They're not sending Okada like they are to Ring of Honor.
That's true too.
So I mean, I think even GFW is kind of getting a little bit of a backseat from them. Remember, we thought that GFW was going to be a much bigger part of Wrestle Kingdom because they presented the pay-per-view and they got it onto the American pay-per-view.
I agree. Yeah.
And really, they had what, one match?
Yeah, and it was barely even mentioned. I mean, you could just tell it was a New Japan.
In the scheme of things, it was just a really rushed six-man tag match.
Mm-hmm. And it was just they showed the Global Force symbol
twice.
And it was on the entranceway and all that. I'm just trying to look international partnerships. AAA.
Oh yeah, AAA.
Emerald Wrestling Promotions, Explosive Pro Wrestling, Impact Pro Wrestling, New Generation Wrestling, New Japan, Career British Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Alliance, Australia, Revolutionary Pro Wrestling
from England,
Riot City Wrestling,
Australia,
West Side Extreme Wrestling, that's Germany.
World Wrestling Professionals from South Africa, there it is.
Mm-hmm. And Wrestle Clash from Australia.
Alright, wait a minute, you're freaking kidding me? We have 7 Australian promotions and like 3 a South African promotion. I don't know any of these.
I've heard of, the only ones I've heard of are PWA, I've heard of New Japan, of course, Impact Pro I've heard of. And
have you ever been
AAA.
bored enough to watch Emerald Wrestling from Ireland? No.
But I mean, where are the guys that are being supplied from these companies? Are they going to be safe for TV?
Well, maybe some of these people that have been signed are. Maybe Beretta or somebody was working for them. I've never heard of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody was from somewhere, but I would think there'd be more representation from AAA, for goodness sakes.
Well, AAA, they're stretched so thin now. They have a partnership with everyone. Don't they even have a partnership with CMLL, a rival?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Who knows, though? I mean, basically the gist of this whole thing is um, they're going to film their TV July 24th. There's going to be 4 titles, 4 champions crowned. I mean,
Wait, what are they going to be? Are they counting the tag team titles as 2 championships or 1? Is there going to be a light heavyweight title? Is
I
there
don't
going
know.
to be a women's title? And, well, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a world title.
There's no reference of any of that, so who knows? I'm looking at GFW personnel just to see if there's anything else we're missing. Duggan and Hall.
Check the executive officers.
Let's take a look at that. Jarrett, of course. Hermie Sadler, which, whatever. Kernagel, Cornette, and Chanel Sonnen or whatever.
Expert analyst, an MMA fighter. Expert analyst. Here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Joined by King Mo Lawal and Rampage Jackson. God, don't ever let that happen again.
Brandon and Brent Tate, I don't know who they are, but they're mentioned here on this roster page.
There's someone.
Just looking around to see there's, Devin Driscoll.
So basically everyone is wrestling under their real name almost.
Best of the Star. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody else that we're missing. It's pretty much the same.
No, we pretty much got everyone.
There definitely needs to be more, and I think there will be for TV. I think we're going to get some different people, but
we're less than a month out from the first tapings.
I know. And I guess they figure, well, someone from South Africa is not going to make the American fans want to buy the show. Or
if they
go
can
to
wrestle and they have a look, they can. But it's like, you need to put these people out there. You need to give us some highlight packages.
Just something, anything.
Or some kind of teaser trailer. That's the other thing. Like, show some footage from these other promotions if you're allowed. And show me, some of these guys wrestling and doing some spots, something.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna come up with, and I don't know how this is gonna unfold. But I mean, I would say I think fans are kind of 50-50, maybe 25-75 on it, where they're putting faith in Jarrett, they're not putting faith, they don't know. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and the question is, will they even worry about getting network, or will they just do the 2-hour pay-per-view nonsense again?
I think they're going to start with the pay-per-views because getting a network, there's a whole lot of pressure. Plus, you're basically asking them to promote you without doing much for the network at first.
I mean, I'm sure they could pitch, well, we did these, ballpark shows or whatever, and here's what the attendance figures and some sponsors to go out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Who knows that? I mean, chances are I don't think that's going to be a huge deciding factor if they get TV. I wouldn't be surprised if they do 2-hour pay-per-views again, just to have something to go off of. I mean, as for getting on a network, my guess, if Bischoff's involved, it's going to be on like a Discovery type channel. Unless that breaks the whatever with TNA. Who knows? It might be Destination America.
We'll talk about that in a later show.
Yeah, my goodness. But, WGN, maybe Fox Sports, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Sonnen has connections or whatever, too. So.
Maybe. But the thing is, the TV networks, aside from USA and whatnot, and WWE, that strong brand, they're starting to see that wrestling maybe isn't the best business to get into. It's not quite the moneymaker that everyone promises. Even Ring of Honor's been having trouble with that.
Yeah, and with them, too, they just, they
don't have any stars because they lose everybody. They're just a feeding ground.
They are. They get rated a lot, and honestly, in the scheme of things, Ring of Honor, they've grown, but they've also shrunk, too. I think at the same time, they really haven't. I think they're content with being who they are in that thing, which is fine.
Basically.
But, I mean, as for wrestling fan, like from my point of view, am I excited about wrestling today? Not really. I'm
excited about New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, and you have every right to be. They know what they're doing over there. Should we put a lot of money and interest in the Global Force? No.
Not right now. Not at this stage.
All.
Not at this stage of the game. No, I wouldn't.
Would I advise you to go to a live ballpark show?
No. Go see it in an arena. Do not go to a ballpark show. I would not enjoy that.
I mean, to me, I don't like being outside, sitting and sweating. So
I don't either. It's just bad for the acoustics. It's bad for everything. Plus, it ruins all the magic. Part of wrestling is the drama. I mean, it does matter, the entrances and everything a little bit. If it was just about the wrestling, you could have a great match in your backyard, and we all know how interesting backyard wrestling is.
I know.
We like watching people get hurt.
That's always
in
fun.
Full confession, but
we
don't really we don't care about any of the matches. I don't care about the Mangler versus Eddie Hospital Jones or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever they got.
And a trampoline match of death. So who cares?
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to see wrestling for the sake of seeing wrestling, go see it. If you want to see Jim Cornette or a legend, go see it. If you want to watch the show and give some of these guys, I guess, a chance that haven't really been used in other promotions, I guess to the best of their abilities, and you can give it a chance, go ahead.
If you're an indie wrestling hipster and you want to say, oh, I saw it first and I remember these guys when they were so-and-so, go ahead. I don't care. It's up to you.
I mean, I would go to see the New Japan guys if they were in my area. Apparently, some of these people were going to get shortchanged and not see the New Japan guys. But not saying the other guys might not be just as talented. I don't know. I don't know who half these people are.
I gotta be honest that I really don't like Carl Anderson. I don't know why. There's just something about him, so I really wouldn't pay to see Carl Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, I would
He's not a bad wrestler. I just don't like him.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that it's either you like him or you don't, and that's with everything. But I mean, he's just there because he got right place, right time, and I'm sure he has some talent.
No, he does have talent. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
Is Adam Pearce going to be doing anything with GFW, or?
I would think he would, but I haven't seen any announcements with him.
Or is he just completely actively retired?
I really don't know. I haven't heard a lot from him lately.
The thing is, there's a lot of people out there that are like these, free agent type guys that we know of that aren't really doing anything. But it's like, would they sign? Would Jarrett have interest in them, and why aren't they there? Like, there are some guys like that.
Well, I think Cole Cabana would be, but I don't know. Maybe that's coming.
Well, I mean, he has his own thing. He has his podcast and everything else. I mean, he's doing pretty well with that.
I just think, if Compton's there, I would think Cabana would be. They're kind of like good buddies.
Well, they are, but yeah. I mean, CM Punk's not showing up anytime soon either.
That's another person I would think that would be their diamond in the rough to get,
But I don't think they have the money. I mean, he was making money in WWE.
Is he doing UFC now or whatever?
Supposedly, he has a welterweight fight coming up eventually, but he has to train and everything first and learn everything. So, I mean, he's got a good probably 4 to 6 months before his first fight at least.
And the Green Power Ranger wants to beat him. So.
They've been talking about fighting each other for like 10 years. I'm sick of it.
My money's on the Power Ranger, though.
Oh, mine is too. Yeah. CM Punk's a great, jiu-jitsu and judo guy, but that doesn't help if you actually get punched in the mouth.
You can know all the martial arts in the world, but if you
if the martial arts that you know are just throws, as soon as someone hits you, it's not going to work.
And if you're like 300 pounds and you're taking on like CM Punk, you're probably going to beat him. I mean,
it's welterweight. He's fighting 170 pounders, which, by the way, says a lot about worked weights. We're coming to the ring at 215 bullshit pounds.
Well, that's what I find fascinating about martial arts. These guys practice and training, but then like some bigger guy comes and just knocks them out just because of his size and just law of physics. It's like.
Well, no, I mean, martial arts, you're fighting people in your weight class. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They haven't done that since, like, 96.
Well, even like a street fight, like, these guys, I don't know, it's just unrealistic.
Well, that's different.
All the martial arts won't help you against, like, a big guy, man. It's just not going to happen. But
no, probably not, unless you're Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
But yeah, our thoughts on this are pretty pessimistic, I gotta be honest. We're not crazy about this at all, and we're actually in a good mood, and we're trying to be hopeful, although...
I was excited for it. I really was.
Yeah, but as former TNA fans, we've been disappointed by wrestling so much.
We've been beaten down by life.
And after having Edge and everyone that I liked basically retire in 2011 from WWE and seeing that product go to hell, you don't even want to know.
So you wondered, like, what's the purpose of all this? Like, where does this even go next year? What
will it be here next year?
Yes. Will we actually have this on television?
Or will they be regional force?
I hope not. I mean, and that's the problem. Is this one of those scenarios where Jarrett promised what he couldn't deliver? Because he was famous for that in TNA. Every week on TNA, I get disappointed somehow. I mean, I like the weekly pay-per-views to a degree, but it always came back to me saying they don't really have much of a roster, do they?
And they're not expanding. That's the thing. We're not seeing progression. We're seeing stops and starts with occasional great matches with no consistency.
Yeah, we're going to need some major progression with Global Force here because, your New Japan guys, if they're not going to be on TV, you're in bad shape. Because, I mean, how are you going to book, how are you going to do anything with guys that no one's ever seen before? I mean, it makes sense to bring new people. We got to bring some other faces in there. Surprised like the Dudleys aren't there.
Well, I mean, Bully's kind of just floating back and forth. They have their own training school. That's the other thing. A lot of these older wrestlers, they have different business ventures. They diversify. They know you can't live in the ring forever.
That's smart, too.
But, at the same time, it makes it hard to travel and do other shows. Plus, you're subject to non-compete clauses and everything else. So I don't know.
Here's some predictions. Are we going to get, like, the Scott Steiners, the Goldbergs again? Are we going to go, are they going to come back and wrestle, you think? I don't know.
Does that move the needle anymore, though?
No.
Because these indie fans will complain about it, but then they'll secretly go and buy a ticket and say how great it is.
I know. They'll love it.
I mean, like, I don't understand internet wrestling fans anymore. I don't get it. I have no idea what they want. I don't.
Well, I think there's a huge base.
First they want Daniel Bryan, then they're marking out for Brock Lesnar. It makes no sense. Make up your mind.
You got the guys that love like the video games and stuff that want to see all this high flying craziness, but then you got the old school kind of fans They want like their ECW, WCW, NWA kind of
They
wrestling.
actually just want a star that they recognize, that they care about, that can have a good match and be a big presence and not be somebody 3 inches smaller and 40 pounds lighter than my dad.
That's the problem with a lot of it. A lot of these guys are just too small, and it takes away the credibility of like.
There's no disbelief to
superstar
suspend
power.
because
Yeah,
it's
there's-
like, okay, you're literally a normal person. By the way, Adrian Neville looks like a midget Sean O'Hare. Did I text you this today?
No, but that's a good point.
I was watching the match and he was wrestling Wade Barrett. I'm like, my God, I know exactly who he looks like now. He was doing like the kicks and like the spin kick.
Yeah.
And he was wearing purple and he had his hair like that. I'm like, it's Sean O'Hare.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
small.
Someone like that, it's not going to impress, your average fan.
I mean, he might have some cool flip move, but do I really care about him outside of that? Or, I mean, if you're going to like build him up, have him start beating people around his size. Don't put him right in there and job out Barrett at his expense.
I know. It's just the way.
Or Sheamus.
I know. But for Global Force, we'll see what happens. Just kind of sitting and waiting. But so far, I'm kind of disappointed. I won't lie.
Yeah, same.
I'm glad Jim Cornette's there. I like him. But to me, that's like, okay, Jim Cornette.
I like Hiroki Goto.
Yeah, whatever. But it's like, to me, Jim Cornette's like one of the last of like those star kind of power people. Because like this other generation.
Promoter guys, yeah.
So, I don't know. We're going to have to get more of a roster. You're going to have to.
I think we're going to have to give him a little.
up.
I think we're going to have to give him a little more rope, but right now we're really, really doubtful.
Yeah, everyone's kind of halfway out the door as it is. I like that they have that arena in Vegas, though. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, the Orleans Arena is a nice setup.
And that's what he did with TNA originally. He had some type of arena in Nashville or whatever.
My worry is, are you going to attract enough wrestling fans, or are these just going to be tourists again, like the Impact Zone, who have no interest in it but a free show?
Yeah.
I know he's going to be selling tickets to it, but are you going to be able to fill the arena, or are you going to have to resort to giveaways? Like, how are you going to do this?
It's one of those things where, like, it's a shame you can't get, like, Robert Roode to, like, go there and a couple of the other guys. So there's some people I want to see.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We'll get to TNA in a little bit. But right now, I'm Peck.
I'm Chris.
And have a good night.
Good night.